Harvest these 7 herbs before summer ends. Dry, store, and make winter tea. Late summer is one of the most valuable times in the herb garden. Rosemary, sage, thyme, holy basil, lemon balm, echinacea, and fennel are approaching their most useful harvest stage. There is a difference between simply cutting herbs and harvesting them in a way that protects flavor, potency, and next season's growth. In this video, we're covering when to harvest, where to cut, how to dry herbs with modern methods, how to know they're fully dry with a snap test, and how to turn your harvest into simple winter tea blends. Before cutting anything, remember, herbal teas can support everyday wellness, but they are not a substitute for medical diagnosis or treatment. If you are pregnant, taking medication, managing a condition, or using herbs for a child, check with a qualified healthcare professional first. Why harvest now? Late summer heat can be tough on gardeners, but it can also bring intense fragrance to hardy herbs like rosemary, sage, and thyme. As the days stay warm and dry, these plants often develop a strong aroma in their leaves. That is exactly what you want to preserve for winter. The goal is not to wait until plants look stressed, woody, or exhausted. Harvest when plants are healthy, leafy, and dry from the morning dew. The best time is usually mid-morning, after moisture has evaporated, but before the strongest afternoon heat. For most leafy herbs, harvesting before heavy flowering helps preserve a softer flavor and encourages more leaf production. For seed herbs like fennel, wait until flower heads dry and the seeds turn greenish-brown to brown. For echinacea, the root is traditionally harvested later in the season, once the plant is mature and its above-ground growth begins to die back. The peak harvest window. Each herb gives a slightly different signal that it is ready. Rosemary. Harvest flexible green tips before they become heavily woody. Avoid stripping one side of the shrub bare. Sage. Cut leafy stems before or just as flowers open for strong aroma and tender leaves. Thyme. Harvest stems before full bloom when the leaves are especially fragrant. Holy basil. Cut stems before the plant is covered in flowers. Removing flower spikes encourages more leafy growth. Lemon balm. Harvest before flowering when possible. Its lemon scent is usually strongest in young, healthy leaves. Echinacea. Harvest flowers for tea while they are fresh and fully open. Harvest roots only from established plants, ideally at least 3 years old. Fennel seeds. Let seed heads mature and dry on the plant, then cut the entire head into a paper bag to finish drying. A useful rule: never harvest more than about 1/3 of a healthy plant at once. That leaves enough foliage for the plant to keep making energy and recover well. The proper cut. The most important rule is to cut above a leaf node. A node is the point where leaves grow from the stem. When you make a clean cut just above that point, the plant has a better chance of producing new branches and fuller growth. With holy basil and lemon balm, regular trimming can make plants bushier because new shoots often form below the cut. Take young stems with plenty of leaves and leave enough healthy growth behind for the plant to recover. Rosemary and thyme need a little more care. Their older stems become woody, and cutting too far down into bare wood may not produce new growth. Focus on the tender green tips and avoid removing more than about 1/3 of the plant at one time. Sage can be cut back lightly while it is still growing, but it also benefits from leaving plenty of leafy stem behind. Think of each harvest as a gentle haircut, not a major renovation. Drying your herbs. Drying your herbs well is what turns a fresh garden harvest into a shelf-stable winter supply. Begin by removing damaged leaves, insects, and debris. If the herbs need washing, Rinse them gently and let them dry completely before putting them into a dehydrator or onto drying racks. A dehydrator is one of the easiest methods because it gives you gentle, consistent airflow. Spread herbs out in a single layer and dry them at a low temperature, usually around 95 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit for leafy herbs. Check them regularly. Thin lemon balm leaves may finish much faster than thick sage leaves or rosemary sprigs. Air drying also works beautifully when the room is dry and well ventilated. Make small, loose bundles rather than large, tightly packed ones. Hang them away from direct sunlight, since intense light can fade the color and weaken the aroma. For fennel seeds, cut the seed heads when they are dry and beginning to turn brown. Place the heads inside a paper bag and let them finish drying indoors. As they dry, many of the seeds will naturally fall into the bag. Do not dry herbs in direct sunlight. Light and heat can fade the color and weaken the aroma of your harvest. The snap test and storage. The snap test is your best simple check before storing dried herbs. Take one of the thickest stems and bend it between your fingers. If it bends, twists, or feels flexible, it still contains moisture and needs more drying time. If it breaks with a clean snap, it is usually ready. Leaves should crumble easily when rubbed between your fingers. They should not feel leathery, cool, or soft. Fennel seeds should feel hard and dry, not pliable. This step matters because even a little trapped moisture can lead to mold in storage. It is better to give herbs a few extra hours of drying time than to lose an entire harvest later. Once your herbs are fully dry, place them in clean, airtight glass jars. Label every jar with the herb's name, the plant part you harvested, and the date. Keep the jars in a cool, dark cabinet away from the stove, dishwasher steam, and sunny windows. Whenever possible, store herbs whole instead of crushing them right away. Whole leaves and stems tend to keep their fragrance longer. Crush the herbs only when you are ready to brew tea or make a blend. Winter tea blends. Tea blending is not random. A balanced blend usually has a base herb, supportive herbs, and a small amount of strong accent herbs. Base herbs provide most of the volume and make the tea pleasant to drink. Holy basil and lemon balm are useful examples from this harvest. Supportive herbs add a particular taste or traditional wellness role, such as echinacea flowers or fennel seed. Accent herbs, including sage, rosemary, and thyme, have powerful flavors, so a little goes a long way. Keep blends simple at first. Make a small batch, brew 1 cup, and adjust the next batch based on taste. A tea that is enjoyable to drink is much more likely to become part of your winter routine. Immune Support Herbal Tea. This bright, lightly sweet blend is designed for everyday winter sipping and seasonal wellness support. 2 parts holy basil, 2 parts lemon balm, 1 part echinacea flower, 1 part fennel seed, lightly crushed, 1/2 part rosemary. Holy basil and lemon balm create the base. Echinacea flower adds a traditional seasonal wellness element. Fennel brings a gentle sweetness, while rosemary adds a strong pine-like note, so use it sparingly. Combine the dried herbs in a jar and shake gently. Use about 1 tablespoon of tea per 8 ounces of hot water. Cover the cup and steep for 10 to 15 minutes before straining. Keeping the cup covered helps retain the aromatic oils released during steeping. Comfort Tea for respiratory. This second blend is warming and aromatic for cold weather sipping. 2 parts thyme, 2 parts sage, 1 part holy basil, 1 part fennel seed, lightly crushed, 1/2 part rosemary. Thyme and sage form the heart of the blend. Holy basil softens the flavor, fennel adds sweetness, and rosemary brings a sharp herbal aroma. Because sage and rosemary are concentrated, strongly flavored herbs, they are best used in modest amounts rather than as the main ingredient. Combine the dried herbs in a jar and shake gently. Steep 1 tablespoon per 8 ounces of hot water covered for 10 to 15 minutes. If the blend tastes too strong, reduce the sage and rosemary before adding sweetener. Keeping the cup covered helps retain the aromatic oils released during steeping. Harvesting herbs before summer ends is one of the simplest ways to carry your garden into winter. With clean cuts, slow drying, a proper snap test, and dark storage, you can preserve the aroma and usefulness of these plants for months. Start with the herb you have the most of, dry a small batch, and make your first winter tea jar. Thank you for joining us for practical herbal education, plant growing tips, and natural remedy ideas. Please hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and share with someone who enjoys herbs and gardening as much as we do. And if you enjoyed this video and want more like it, please comment below. I would love to hear from you. Share your tips on how you use herbs in your everyday life.